Brasso, I do not like. Hey everyone, Jiggle Lady Vintage Bags. Now, handbag care. This is a topic that's relevant to all of us handbag lovers. Doesn't matter if you're buying brand new from the store or you're buying pre-loved or vintage. Handbag care is important for us, keeping our designer beauties going for years and years and years and serving us well. Now, depending on what sort of handbags you're buying and what materials they're made out of, you will need different products in your handbag toolkit. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to show you what's in my handbag toolkit and what I actually use from my kit and what I bought and not ended up using at all because it didn't really suit me. So first I'm going to go with the leather care products. So in the leather care section, what I've got in my toolkit is Meguiar's Gold Class Rich Leather Wipes. These you can easily get on Amazon or auto care stores. So we have a chain of auto care stores in Australia called Super Cheap Auto, and that's just where I got mine from. Now what I use this for is actually just quick cleaning up and a bit of quick conditioning, 2-in-1 of my leather. I even use this on vintage, not light or brand new, but vintage Vachetta leather. And I also use it on my non-Vachetta Louis Vuitton vintage bag. So this is tiger leather, this is epi leather, this is vintage Louis Vuitton canvas with treated leather. So I can use this on all my vintage Louis Vuitton bags. Now this is another brand of leather wipes I use. This is called Oakwood Everyday Leather Wipes. Now again, this is from the auto care store, so you can get it from Amazon as well, and this actually serves the same purpose as the Meguiar's. I was just trying different brands. So these ones are definitely a thicker wipe. This is definitely a thinner wipe, but I use them for the same use case, and I use this on all my vintage Louis Vuitton bags, and this is for the vintage Vachetta, not brand new Vachetta. Now for leather conditioners, what I've got in my kit is the Mother's Leather Conditioner. Now I want everyone to know that I didn't buy this because it was the best leather conditioner for my handbags. What I found on the forums, on groups, is a lot of Americans will use Cadillac or Brick 4. There's some really popular brands that the Americans use, but I couldn't get them in Australia. Couldn't even get them on Amazon. So I kind of just went with whatever I could get at the auto care store, which was Mother's. So I'm going to repeat that again. I did not buy this because it was the best one. I bought it because it was one I could get, because the ones that the Americans were talking about, Brick 4 and Cadillac, sometimes Colonial, those are some really popular ones, but I couldn't get my hands on them. So I just went with the one that I could get. And I use this on my vintage Louis Vuitton bags, including the vintage Vachetta, not brand new Vachetta. And you'll find that over the years, I've featured these 3 products in my tutorial videos on how to care for vintage Louis Vuitton bags, including my hacks for cleaning and conditioning Vachetta leather. Now I want to introduce you to Saphir Renovateur. This is a product I use on my Lambskin Chanel and Hermes box calf bag. So on my Chanel and Hermes, I'm not really using these products, but rather instead I'm using the Saphir Renovateur. Now bear in mind, this product is not actually a handbag product. This is actually made for leather shoes. So I wouldn't be using too much of this. And this one, you also need to do a really good job of buffing it out at the end. Otherwise it leaves this kind of like white, waxy coating. So you only use a little bit, you do a lot of buffing action, and you are buffing it off at the end too. So remember, this is actually a shoe product, but I am using it on my Hermes box calf and my Chanel lambskin bag. And I actually featured this in my tutorial videos on how to care for Chanel lambskin and how to care for Hermes box calf as well. Now for my patent leather handbags, I'm using the Patent Leather Rife. This is also from the Saphir brand. So the Saphir Renovateur and the Saphir Patent Rife, these two are actually from the same company. But this is for the patent leather, and this is the black color liquid. They also make a clear color liquid, but but I had a black patent leather bag, so that's why I bought the black one. But if you've got a non-black patent leather bag, you might want to buy the clear one. And I actually featured this in my tutorial on how to care for patent leather bags. Now this you can also find on Amazon. Now for any of you who are on Instagram, you may have seen ads from the Handbag Haven. Now they are a company that sell leather care product kits, and I actually bought this kit from them years ago when I got my first Chanel lambskin bag, and I have the intensive conditioning balm. This is not too dissimilar from the Saphir Renovateur. I would say they have the same use case, so we use one or the other. But they've also got the foam power cleanser. Now I actually use this on my leather jacket. I haven't used it on my handbags yet, but I've used it on my leather jacket, so that was really handy. And they also have a water repellent protector spray. Now this is very similar to the Apple Guard. Now a lot of Louis Vuitton lovers will know about the Apple brand guard stain. Now the Handbag Haven is the same use case as this, but not the same type of formulation. This is an aerosol spray and this is a liquid spray. So the way you apply it would be different. And I actually have a tutorial video on how to apply this liquid spray, which I'll link down below for you. But Apple Guard is a brand that needs no introduction, and she is a product that's been used by countless Louis Vuitton lovers to protect their beloved vachetta from getting water stains. Now I do have some products in my kit that I did buy but didn't really end up using. So this is the Oakwood leather conditioning cream. This is the same brand as the wipes that I use, but I didn't really end up using the cream after buying it. I think it's because I already have so many different leather conditioners in my kit that this one just made it all the way down the list as preferred products. There's nothing really wrong with this one. It just didn't make it to the top of my list, but it's there as a backup. Now, in terms of Protectant products that I have in my kit that I haven't really used. So first is the Scotch Guard. This is a very well-known fabric and upholstery protectant spray. I've used this on sofas. I've used this in new cars, but I haven't yet quite used this on my handbag. I was too scared to use this on vachetta, and I really didn't need to spray any of my other bags. Okay, let's talk hardware. Now, a lot of you are aware of Brasso, the beloved metal polish for Louis Vuitton lovers, particularly the ones who like to buy vintage bags and rehab them. Brasso, I do not like. I bought it because all the videos I watched about how to polish Louis Vuitton hardware had Brasso in it. I am not a fan of Brasso. This is stinky. This is messy. I persisted with it, but I was just not happy with the way it was going for me. For me, it's just, I found it hard to use until Purse on Fleek introduced me to metal polish cream. This has definitely changed the game for my hardware polishing. So thank you to Purse on Fleek. That changed my handbag life. This works a treat on vintage Louis Vuitton. You will see that I have a tutorial video on how to polish Louis Vuitton hardware using this metal polish cream, and for a couple of years I had so much trouble polishing the hardware on this pochette curad. When I used Brasso, it even looked silvered and I started panicking, thinking I'd stripped the gold color off the hardware. But it wasn't until Purse on Fleek introduced me to the blue metal polish cream that I was finally able to get this hardware the way I liked it. So in the end, it's still gold. It's a more lighter champagne gold compared to my other bags, but I think that's just how it was on this bag. And I now have it as shiny and beautiful as I like. So thank you to Purse on Fleek. So if you want to know how to use this metal polish cream, I've actually got a tutorial video which I'll link up above and down below for you. Now also for polishing hardware, I have a jewelry polishing cloth. These usually come with two sides. One side is for cleaning and then one side is for polishing. So you can see all the tarnish that's come off onto here. So some people like to use a combination of using a product like the metal polish cream or the Brasso and then giving it an extra clean with a polishing cloth. Some people have really delicate hardware and just use a polishing cloth only. That's completely up to you. Now, I like to have variety in my kit because it all just depends on which handbag I'm dealing with that time. Different hardware from different brands, from different eras, all require a little bit of their own special care. Now, I also have Silvo. This was just something I already had at home, but I never ended up using it on any of the handbags. So these two, Silvo and Brasso, they're out. Metal polish cream, she's in. Now a handbag toolkit will always have some kind of fragrance-free wet wipe in it because this is great just for many different types of handbags. If you get a stain, if you get some dirt on it, fragrance-free would be the safest way to go for any of your handbags. But you do have to remember, if it's a handbag that could possibly dry out, you should consider conditioning it first before using a wet wipe. And you always need a toothbrush in your handbag toolkit just for cleaning any of the hardware, cleaning off any stains. You can't go wrong with a toothbrush. Now for my Louis Vuitton sticky pockets, my main tools that I have in my kit is this orange oil. A lot of people like to get rid of the sticky part using acetone, but for me, I prefer to use orange oil because acetone really stinks. And orange oil is quite similar to a product you may know in America known as Goo Gone. So some people have Goo Gone in their kit as well, but so my version of Goo Gone would be orange oil. And I also keep baby powder in there too, because once I've done cleaning it up, I like to just add one layer of baby powder, which I just shake off at the end, just to kind of help absorb any other muck that's been left, help to dry out the pocket, and just give it like a nice little talky smell. Now for my DIY parts of my toolkit, these are the tools that I like to use. This is a leather hole punch. So it's a manual handheld hole punch, and you can just turn it around to see whatever size hole you want to do. So if you want to pierce extra holes in a belt, you want to pierce holes to use tools in the leather handbag, this is what I use. It can take quite a lot of hand strength depending on how thick that piece of leather is. And sometimes I have to do it a few times to really get through all the layers. And I also have just on standby a mini hammer and this set of pliers too. I don't really use these often. This is probably the tool I use the most. And don't forget, any products that I find Amazon links for, I will link them down below for you. Now you might be wondering, why am I punching holes into the handbag? So some of my bags are pouches or clutches, and I like to convert them to crossbody bags. So this is an example of one. This is a Pochette Curad, which is a handheld clutch only. You do get a wrist strap, but I wanted to wear it as a crossbody bag. This is a vintage men's Louis Vuitton clutch that I got for under $200 US. Then I added these screw-on D-rings, which I used this hole punch to punch the hole. And then I added these screw-on D-rings, which I ended up buying a few different sets of them right here. So you can see each set comes in 2 parts. Now these you can also easily find on Amazon, and that's how I get my Louis Vuitton for less, by buying really affordable vintage Louis Vuitton clutches and then converting them into crossbody bags and adding whatever strap I like. Now other products I have in my hacking toolkit are these mini O-rings. These can be strap extenders, they can help to connect 2 things. These are just really handy to have around. You can even just use them as like key rings as well. So if you have a couple of extra bucks to spend, I would just get these just on hand. And guys, I have a pack of moisture absorbers. These I just throw into my vintage Louis Vuitton bags because I don't want any mold to grow on them. So these you can also just find online. Okay guys, I want you to share with me in the comment section down below what is actually in your handbag care toolbox, because you might have some products that it's relevant to me and that I would like to buy, or we can all share information and see what other people are using and help to improve the care of our own handbags. Now if you have a Louis Vuitton bag that needs a little bit of TLC, I'm going to leave my tutorial here about how to rehab vintage Louis Vuitton bags, and I'm going to leave my tutorial here about how to rehab vintage Chanel bags.